Good afternoon, Chairman Kesto, Minority Chair Chang, and distinguished members of this committee. Thank you for taking up House Bill 5660 and its companion bills. When Senator O'Brien first approached me about being on this package of bills that were the original package out of the Senate, commonly referred to as the Nassar bills, I think she probably asked me because she thought I would be a good advocate. What she didn't know was that I would be a great advocate because this bill is very personal to me and it hits home. This, for me, is not the Nassar bills. This is the Bethany, Marcia, Frances, Lana, Stephanie, Rose, Vanessa, and Leslie bills. This is the Jerome, Brian, James, Matthew, Brian, Brandon, Jerron, Peter, Joseph, Martin, Brett, Thomas, Frank, Robert, and Clint bills. It is the bill for all the children, not just the Dr. Nassar survivors, like my niece, Cassandra Renee Alexander. And it hits home for me, hold on a second, because my niece was a victim of sexual assault, and it was by her father. My sister and this horrible individual, this monster, my niece's father, sexually assaulted her. Lots of things went on in that household, and my mother eventually took custody of my niece, and we raised her in my mom's house. And unfortunately, this individual went on to be a two-time offender. Not only did he offend in 1995 and was released in 2000, but he turned around and reoffended in 2004, and he's currently still serving. This is the reason why I'm on this bill. It's because to keep monsters like that individual who violated my niece, my mother's first granddaughter, my first niece, precious to me and all of our family. And so my bill is, for me, in honor of her and to protect those people who have been victims of this. And even at the time when it happened to my niece, I felt like I was a young adult myself and did not know how to respond or what to do. And oftentimes I think family members of victims don't know what to do and what's the proper way to handle it. And even my niece, who loved her father, but was often very conflicted, and that's why she would wet the bed and didn't want to talk about it. But my mother knew that she had to take her under her custody. And I believe her greatly because one night, in full disclosure, and just telling you my personal story, my mother worked for the police department. She was at work one evening, and I was sleeping in her bed. And my sister, who is involved with this monster, they were in the house, and they apparently fell asleep on the couch watching television in the living room. And I woke up to someone feeling on my leg. And I woke up and I saw this image of this man, and I yelled bloody murder. And he ran out the bedroom. I immediately called my mom and said, I think Levon is here, and he touched me. He touched my leg. What do I do? We got him out the house. Police came, and my sister said, well, we were asleep all the time on the couch. We were asleep the whole time. I said, well, apparently you were more asleep than he was. And so even the way how a family handles it, I'm glad, as I was protected by the grace of God, that that's all that happened to me. But when he reoffended again, he got married and married a woman. And he assaulted his child under marriage, raped. Repeat offender. So this is very serious, and this is very real. So I want to go to the details of my bill. Currently in Michigan, a person who knowingly possesses or knowingly seeks to access child sexual abusive materials, which sometimes I will refer to as CSAM, is guilty of a felony and can be sentenced to prison for up to 4 years or fined of not more than $10,000 or both. The law does not provide harsher penalties for those who create and distribute CSAM. In addition, Michigan's penal code does not currently differentiate between different types of criminal sexual abusive material or include any kind of sentencing requirements for repeat offenders. The issue came to light because of the crimes committed by Dr. Larry Nassar. When the FBI searched Nassar's home, they found at least 37,000 images of child pornography. It was reported Nassar was in possession of child sexual abusive materials that depicted children as young as infants, as well as personal video of himself sexually assaulting girls under the age of 12. My bill amends the Michigan Penal Code to provide harsher penalties for persons who knowingly possess or knowingly seek and access certain types of child sexual abusive materials. The bill would create a Class D felony, aggravated possession of child sexual abusive materials. And that felony would be applicable if both of these apply. One, if a person knows or has reason to know that the person depicted is a child or has not taken reasonable precautions to determine the age of the depicted child, and the material depicts a child under 12, displays sadomasochist abuse or bestiality, or has over 100 images of child sexual abusive material in their possession. The felony will be punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $50,000 or both. And the bill would additionally create a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years for repeat offenders under the Act. Rep. Farrington has the companion bill that spells out penalties. But this bill updates our laws to give prosecutors better tools to go after child predators, like the muster on that screen. And to give justice, even though my niece eventually took her life in 1998, she hung herself from the balcony of my mother's house. We must create a culture in this state where abuse of our most vulnerable population is absolutely not tolerated. And I know you have to do your due diligence, especially the attorneys on the committee, but I'll tell you, I have zero tolerance for this hideous act. Thank you.